All right, it is Friday morning, and I've got a few sheets of paper that sold in the Ephemera store overnight. But before I get into them, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, because I go over lots of cool old things that I find, from 100-plus-year-old paper to Coleman lanterns that follow me home whenever I'm out picking, all the way into 80s, 90s, toys, games, stuff like that. So if it's something you're into, click subscribe down below. But let's get into these ephemera pieces here and what they sold for. So the first one says it's from the office of A.B. Williams. However, I don't think A.B. Williams signed this anywhere. So this must have been a person who just was at this person's office and wrote a letter using his paper. But it talks about the electric road, which, going off of the date, it's most likely the like an electric trolley system, which was really big in the late 1890s, into the 1910s. EVs were a big deal back then too, believe it or not. They were more expensive than gasoline cars, I think, but they were more convenient because you didn't have to hand crank the motors to start them. And they, slowly became less popular once the Model T that came out, and then when electric starters came out, the EV market declined heavily in the 1900s. But this piece here sold for, where's my list? It went for $15.99, free shipping. The next piece that's sold is from the United States Senate, and it's dated 1918. There's not a whole lot going on here, but it does mention war prohibition, and that was a temporary measure that was passed shortly after World War I, to preserve grain for food production and not, to be used in alcohol. Obviously, this later transitioned to prohibition, which was, the 18th Amendment, I think. But this piece here went for $16.19, free shipping. The next one is an application for transfer cards. This is the Maccabees. And where's the listing for this? 1910, the Maccabees Fraternal Order application transfer card out of Michigan. It is not filled out. And this was used to transfer a member's insurance and lodge affiliation when moving. And then it's got more unfilled stuff on the back. And this piece went for, just had it, where'd it go? $13, free shipping. The next one here, this is the Department of Weights and Measures, Laws of 1910, dated 1914. And this was basically, just to certify that a business's scales, weights, and other, measuring devices were tested and proven to be, accurate, so that you weren't scamming people. It does have a little stamp. It's hard to make out. There's a seal stamp down there. This one went for $28.49, free shipping. The next two have to deal with the Cooperage industry, barrels used for, I don't know what they used for, like ciders, brandies, bourbons. And the first one's from, actually, this one's been listed for quite a while. It's from the Bell Mead Company out of Bell Mead, Virginia. Really good-looking letterhead. You can see some products there trickling down on the side. Handwritten letter. And it talks about they're looking to purchase flagging. And flagging is, it's dried rushes that were used by coopers. Rushes, I think they're wetland plants. They were used for lots of different things back in the day, from weaving chairs and seats, like baskets and stuff like that. And the flagging, there's two different types, and we'll talk about the second one in this other sheet here. The flagging was used as to fill, like holes and cracks, to repair like holes and cracks or stuff in the barrels. And this one, does it say what size the barrels were? 10, yeah, it says right there. They have 4. Is it 4 of them or 14? They have 14, I think, 10,000-gallon cypress wood cider tanks. And the flagging is used to seal the leaks in those tanks. But this piece went for $19.99, free shipping. The next one is from S.O. Church and Brother, September 22nd, 1902. This one sold, where's the sale price on this one? There we go. Okay, so this one here, 1902, S.O. Church and Brother, Cooperage stock letter. They're asking to purchase butt flag. Is that what that says here? We're in the market for a carload of butt flag. And I had to look all this stuff up because I didn't know what flagging or butt flagging was. But the butt flagging is it's the thicker bottom end of the rush plant, because the base of the reed is wider and denser at the top, and this was a specific heavy duty grade, more premium grade for sealing larger gaps in these things like 10,000 gallon cider tanks or cider barrels. So if you had a big leak, you would order the butt flag, and if you had a small leak, you'd order the standard flag. If you Google butt flag, you're going to get a lot of different responses. Not exactly what you're looking for. But this piece ended up going for $15.99 with free shipping. Okay, so that's all that's sold in the Ephemera store, but I do have one other piece here that I need your help to price this. I don't even know if I want to sell it yet, but we'll get into this one right now. So this piece here is 121 years old. It's a souvenir book from Lake Minnetonka. Now, I've seen copies of this that's black and white. I've never seen another one in color, and I've never seen any of them that have a date as old as this. I can't remember the exact year that some of the other ones said, or if you look online as to when this was published, it didn't say 1905. So if anyone knows anything about this, please, leave a comment and let me know. But this is absolutely incredible. The ads are beautiful. The way people talk is incredible. And I'll show some of these here in this video. Really great ads. Everything in this just looks incredible. I mean, I could do a whole video on just going through this book, but I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll sit here and go through a lot of the stuff here. So there's a few that are beer related, or alcohol related. There's one that's very hilarious that talks about hangovers. It must be. This is Bethesda, the water of quality. What does that mean? Is that like a spa or something? Really good looking stuff. Here's a cool one here. This one says, Marie's Indestructible Roof Preserver. Any kind of a roof or boat preserves the wood or iron almost indefinitely. Sorry if this chair is creaking that I'm sitting on. One day I'll get a new stool here. Here's a cool one. The Ginter Grocery Company. 23 South 6th Ave in Minneapolis. Really cool. Look into something from 121 years ago. Here's the other page right here. I got to be careful how I handle this book. It's getting it's falling apart a little bit, but it's still in really good shape considering the age. Here's a cool one. The Minnetonka Bay Hotel. You can see the old cars in front. The one car in the front could be an electric vehicle. If anyone knows if these buildings are still standing, let me know in the comments. Now here's a cool ad. Haynes Automobile Company. You can get the Model E white touring car for the low price of $2,500 in 1905. How much is that in 2026 money? And here, I'll show you the other page here. Again, trying to be as careful as I can with this. All right, here's a lady, Mrs. H. Andrews of Minneapolis, an enthusiastic operator of the white touring car, starting for a spin around the lake. That is incredible. 121 years old. Here is, I don't know if this building's still here, the country residence of John Burkholz. What else is in here? I love going through this thing. This is just incredible. Here's something interesting. The Minneapolis Tribune building. And there's a building locally from, I think it's the same period. It was an insurance company, and now I think it's apartments or something. But it looks almost identical to that. And if I had to guess, it was built by the same builder of some sort, maybe. Hotel de Otero, Hopkins and Company, Spring Park. Is this one still around? Really cool. This is only like halfway through the book. Tonka Bay Roller Skating Rink, Casino Roller Skating Rink. That's really cool looking. Here's another one. Minneapolis Journal Tours. A group of cars leaving the Journal building on a morning trip. Only modern touring automobiles are used. Very cool. Here's a good one. So, this must be, whoever this person is, Edwin Murray, he must have a cure for the common hangover. It says here, young man, when drink gets the best of you, remember the Murray cure. I would love to know more about that. Because that's hilarious. I'm sure hangovers were a lot worse back then because the alcohol may have, I don't know, wasn't filtered as much or what. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Here we go. Put your money where it is safe in North Dakota property. This guy here says, I'm a very busy man. Don't bother me unless you mean business. It's pretty serious. This guy means business, so don't bother him unless you mean business. I have got the land if you have got the money. Some fancy shoes. Wear the popular shoes of the time in 1905 from the North Star Shoe Company. There's so much in here. Here we go. Here's a really simple, clean, good-looking logo. To the Lewis and Clark, say exposition. The Hotel Aberdeen, St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm getting some paper stuff on me here. St. Paul's finest hotel with 200 rooms. Patronized by the most exclusive. Trying to hold this in the most delicate way possible. Is this one still around? If it is, what is it today? This is quite the souvenir book here. There's lots of good stuff in here. What is this one? Owner of Greens Editions. For houses and lots in Greens Editions, see Lowry Hill. And it's got someone hammering something on a tree there. Here's a photographer. Photographs of Lake Minnetonka residences and business houses of the Twin Cities and vicinity is a specialty of them. We have the finest collection. Developing printing. It talks about that, but then it shows a little child there instead. I wonder what cameras they would have been using back then. Oh, here, right next to it, the Hampshire Arms Hotel. This is a cool drawing. It's not a photo of the building. It looks like it's a drawing. Really cool looking. We have an antique dealer from 1905 with the largest stock in the city. Brass, copper, hammered brass and copper, Russian and Turkish antique goods. A few more pages to go. So if you stuck around this long, thank you. Is this short for Thomas C. Ho? Wholesale and retail of Edison phonographs. There's the page next to it. I haven't showed all the pages that are next to these here, which I should have done, but... Independent Clear Havana Cigar. Wonder if that building is still there. I should just take scans of all these and then do a video of Google Image or Google Street View and see if these buildings are still around. Auto racing boats, gasoline, and electric launches. Get this hold up here. That one looks pretty cool. So, really cool book. Souvenir and story of the most popular summer resort in the Northwest. I can't remember where I got this from. I've had it for years and years and years. It's got a nice list here, it looks like, of the hotels. And then on the other page, it's a map. Like I said, people, I think a lot of... Well, not a lot, but I'm sure some people that deal with ephemera would take this apart and sell the pages individually, but I don't think I'm going to do that. But let me know, what do you think something like this is worth? And do you have other examples of this exact one in color? Because like I said, I couldn't find any of these in color. This was a few years ago when I was looking for these, though. The dates were newer. There was nothing that indicated that there were any of these printed in 1905. And the replicas that were made were all black and white. But that's going to be it for this video. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.